Seth Rollins has just done the unthinkable. In a move that has sent shockwaves through WWE, the wrestling world, and even mainstream media, Seth Rollins has officially filed for divorce against Becky Lynch after catching her in what sources are calling the most scandalous betrayal in recent WWE history. Reports confirm that Seth walked in on Becky and none other than CM Punk sharing an intimate kiss, and the fallout has ignited absolute chaos both inside and outside WWE. This isn't just gossip. This isn't just rumor. This is a real, documented split between two of the biggest stars in WWE history, a couple that fans had idolized for years, now torn apart in the most dramatic and heartbreaking way possible. The WWE Universe is stunned, furious, and divided. How could this happen? How could the man, Becky Lynch, be caught in a scandal of this magnitude, and with CM Punk of all people? Sources close to WWE confirm that Seth Rollins, who has been working tirelessly despite nagging injuries, returned home early last weekend, only to discover the shocking scene firsthand. Seth reportedly froze in disbelief as he saw Becky and Punk together. Witnesses claim Rollins stormed out, immediately contacted his legal team, and within 48 hours, divorce papers were filed. The betrayal hit him like a steel chair to the back, a wound deeper than any he's ever suffered inside the ring. The WWE locker room is in flames over this. Wrestlers, staff, and even top executives are split on how to react. Some insiders say CM Punk has been walking around backstage with an arrogant smirk, unfazed by the scandal. Others report Becky is devastated, telling close friends it was a moment of weakness blown out of proportion. But for Seth, there's no turning back. The divorce filing is public record. The marriage that fans once saw as a fairy tale wrestling love story is officially crumbling before our very eyes. Triple H and WWE executives are reportedly panicking behind the scenes. This isn't just a personal scandal, it's a corporate nightmare. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are two of WWE's biggest mainstream stars, with sponsorships, crossover appearances, and massive fan bases. CM Punk, meanwhile, was only just starting to reintegrate himself into the WWE spotlight after years of controversy. Now, all three names are trending worldwide, not for storylines, not for title runs, but for a real-life betrayal that has blurred the lines between wrestling fiction and reality in the worst possible way. Fans are enraged. Social media has exploded with hashtags like hashtag Becky betrayed Seth, hashtag CM Punk homewrecker, and hashtag Justice for Rollins. Many are calling Becky Lynch a hypocrite after years of promoting herself as the man who didn't need anyone to define her. Others are ripping CM Punk apart, labeling him the most toxic figure in wrestling once again. And Seth? Seth Rollins is being showered with love and sympathy, with fans promising to stand by him no matter what. Multiple outlets report that Seth has refused to comment publicly so far, but close friends say he's absolutely destroyed emotionally. One insider stated Seth Rollins is a proud man, but this broke him. He never thought Becky of all people would betray him, and with Punk? That's a knife to the chest. Meanwhile, CM Punk has remained suspiciously silent. No tweets, no interviews, no cryptic Instagram posts, which for Punk is unusual, since he thrives on chaos. Some believe this silence is strategic, letting the storm build while he positions himself as the most hated man in wrestling all over again. The tension has spilled directly into WWE programming. At recent tapings, Seth Rollins was reportedly supposed to appear in a promo segment but pulled out last minute, leaving producers scrambling. Becky, on the other hand, was booed heavily during her entrance, a reaction so loud that WWE officials had to cut her promo short. The fans weren't having it. The betrayal is too fresh, too raw, and they let her know it. And then there's the whispers of confrontation. Rumors say Seth and Punk came face-to-face backstage after the incident. Security reportedly had to intervene as Rollins lunged at Punk, screaming, "You destroyed everything." Witnesses described the scene as pure chaos, with wrestlers stepping in to keep the two separated. What makes this scandal even worse is the timing. Becky Lynch was in the middle of contract renegotiations with WWE, Seth Rollins was recovering from his recent injuries while being pushed as a top star, and CM Punk was poised for a major storyline heading into WrestleMania season. Now, all of those plans are up in flames, and the WWE Universe is watching every second of this real-life drama unfold like the biggest storyline WWE never wanted. But here's the question that fans are demanding answers to: was this an innocent mistake blown out of proportion, or is this the shocking revelation of a long-term affair? Some insiders suggest this wasn't the first time Becky and Punk got close, hinting that sparks had been flying between the two for months. If true, it means Seth Rollins was being betrayed long before he walked in and caught the kiss that ended his marriage. The fallout from Seth Rollins filing for divorce has been nothing short of catastrophic. WWE fans across the world are divided into two camps: those who are absolutely furious at Becky Lynch and CM Punk, and those who claim Seth Rollins' personal life should not overshadow his career. But one thing is clear: this scandal has become bigger than any storyline, bigger than any championship, bigger than any WrestleMania main event. The WWE Universe, known for being brutally vocal, has made their stance crystal clear at live events. Every time Becky Lynch's music hits, the crowd rains down with boos so loud they shake the arena. Signs reading "You betrayed Seth, Punk destroyed the family," and "Justice for Rollins" have been spotted at nearly every show. Security has even confiscated some of the harsher fan signs, but nothing can drown out the energy of betrayal that now surrounds Becky and Punk. One fan outside Monday Night Raw was interviewed by a local news outlet and said, "We believed in them. Seth and Becky were the power couple of wrestling, they were supposed to be untouchable. Now we feel played." CM Punk did what CM Punk always does: ruin everything. And Becky? She let it happen. This is unacceptable. Backstage, the locker room has descended into chaos. Some wrestlers are standing firmly with Seth Rollins, offering him support and even publicly showing solidarity on social media. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and even Roman Reigns reportedly reached out privately to Seth, encouraging him to stay strong. On the other side, a very small group is cautiously defending Becky, claiming that this should remain a private matter and not be weaponized by fans. But even those voices are drowned in the tidal wave of anger and frustration filling the locker room halls. CM Punk, meanwhile, has become a pariah overnight. Even wrestlers who were once excited about his return are now refusing to interact with him. Reports claim Punk sits alone in catering, isolated and defiant, his reputation once again in ruins. A veteran insider described it like this: "You could cut the tension with a knife. Nobody trusts Punk anymore. He's radioactive, and he knows it. But instead of apologizing, he just smirks. That's what makes people hate him even more." Triple H is said to be in full damage control mode. WWE executives reportedly held an emergency meeting at headquarters the morning after the divorce papers became public. The agenda? How to contain this scandal before it destroys sponsorships, TV deals, and the fragile relationship between WWE and mainstream media outlets. One source claims NBC executives even called WWE directly, demanding assurances that this wouldn't affect Raw's image. WWE creative plans have also been ripped apart. Seth Rollins was penciled in for a high-profile feud that could have headlined WrestleMania, but insiders say Seth has refused to commit to any storyline involving CM Punk. Becky Lynch, once the darling of WWE's women's division, now faces uncertainty, with reports suggesting creative is considering pulling her from TV altogether until the storm cools. The ripple effects extend to merchandise sales as well. Fans are boycotting Becky Lynch merchandise in protest, with online stores reporting a dramatic dip in her numbers. Meanwhile, Seth Rollins gear and shirts are selling at record highs, fans rallying behind him as the wrong party. CM Punk merchandise? Practically unsellable overnight, with fans burning his shirts on TikTok and posting videos with captions like, "This is what we do to traitors." In the middle of all this chaos, Seth Rollins has been spotted arriving at WWE shows with his head down, avoiding cameras. Friends say he's completely focused on work but carries a visible weight on his shoulders. He has yet to make a public statement, but sources close to him hint that when he finally breaks his silence, it will shake the wrestling world even harder than the divorce news itself. And then there's Becky. Reports suggest she is deeply shaken, struggling to reconcile with the backlash. Those close to her say she's been begging for a chance to explain herself, but WWE management is hesitant to let her speak. They fear any statement could pour gasoline on an already raging fire. Still, rumors suggest Becky wants to release a video addressing fans directly, to share her side of the story. The question is, will anyone even believe her after what Seth caught with his own eyes? The scandal is also wreaking havoc on WWE's locker room politics. Insiders claim Seth has demanded CM Punk be kept far away from him at shows, which has forced producers to completely rearrange travel, schedules, and segments. The situation has gotten so toxic that some are comparing it to the infamous Montreal Screwjob fallout, a behind-the-scenes nightmare that WWE never fully recovered from. What's more, there are whispers that Seth has considered taking time off entirely. Sources claim he's told close friends he doesn't know how much longer he can function in the same company where his marriage was destroyed. If Seth were to walk away, it would be an unimaginable blow to WWE, leaving a massive void at the very top of their roster. But perhaps the most chilling detail comes from fans who witnessed a dark moment backstage after Raw. According to multiple sources, Seth was heard shouting at Punk, "You ruined my family, you ruined my life. I'll never forgive you." Witnesses say Punk smirked in response, only to be pulled away by security before the confrontation turned physical. The WWE Universe is left reeling. Every fan, every wrestler, every executive is now forced to pick a side. Do you stand with Seth Rollins, the betrayed husband who gave everything to the business only to be shattered by the people closest to him? Or do you side with Becky and Punk, a pairing that may be toxic, but undeniably has everyone talking? If the WWE Universe thought this scandal couldn't get any bigger, the mainstream media proved otherwise. Within 48 hours of Seth Rollins filing for divorce, TMZ, ESPN, and even Entertainment Tonight were running the story. Headlines plastered across news outlets read, WWE power couple splits, Rollins divorces Lynch amid CM Punk affair scandal. From the ring to the courtroom, Seth and Becky's marriage implodes. CM Punk's kiss of death, did it ruin WWE's golden couple? Suddenly, this wasn't just a wrestling scandal. It was global news. Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, and CM Punk were trending worldwide for 3 straight days, their names making it onto top searches on Google and Twitter. For WWE, this was the exact kind of PR nightmare they feared. Instead of celebrating their upcoming WrestleMania plans, all the spotlight was consumed by a love triangle turned betrayal, threatening to overshadow the biggest show of the year. Sponsors began calling WWE directly, worried about the negative association. A major sports drink brand reportedly froze its contract renewal with Becky Lynch pending further review. Seth Rollins, meanwhile, was quietly offered sympathy by several corporate partners, who made it clear they wanted to continue working with him regardless of the personal drama. CM Punk? One insider revealed at least 2 sponsorship deals tied to Punk collapsed overnight. His comeback was supposed to be triumphant. Instead, it has become radioactive. Backstage in WWE, the tension is boiling over. Becky Lynch, once one of the most respected and beloved figures in the company, now finds herself walking into arenas filled with hostility. Sources close to her say she's begged WWE management to let her tell her side of the story, but executives are torn. On one hand, they fear any attempt to defend herself will only make things worse. On the other hand, silencing Becky entirely risks making her look guilty by default. Finally, Becky made her move. A private video, allegedly filmed for close friends but leaked online, showed Becky breaking down in tears, saying, "It wasn't what it looked like. I made a mistake, but it wasn't an affair. It was one kiss, one moment, and I regret it more than anything. Seth didn't deserve this. I didn't mean to hurt him." The video divided fans even further. Some saw genuine remorse, claiming Becky was being unfairly crucified. Others called it crocodile tears, pointing to the fact that Seth literally caught her in the act. For them, no apology, no excuse, and no explanation could erase the betrayal. Meanwhile, CM Punk remains silent. That silence has become deafening. No tweets, no interviews, no cryptic promos. Just Punk sitting back while the world burns around him. Some say it's arrogance. Some say it's strategy. But many believe it's cruelty that Punk knows the pain he caused and is reveling in it. A former WWE producer was quoted saying, "If you think CM Punk is ashamed, you don't know CM Punk. He thrives on chaos." And right now, he's getting exactly what he wants. And what about Seth Rollins? His silence continues to be the loudest voice in the room. Fans are begging for him to speak out, to cut a promo, to make a statement, but Seth has kept his mouth shut, channeling his energy into the ring. Still, insiders claim his first words on the matter will not be a simple Instagram post or a backstage leak. It will be live, raw, and unscripted in front of the WWE Universe. WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all, is now hanging in the balance. Seth Rollins was penciled in for a high-profile storyline, possibly even tied to CM Punk. But now, that's impossible. WWE Creative has reportedly scrapped weeks of planning, rewriting shows on the fly to adapt to the fallout. Triple H is said to be furious, describing the scandal as a nuclear bomb dropped right in the middle of WrestleMania season. But fans are already speculating, what if WWE leans into the scandal? What if this personal betrayal becomes a storyline? Could we actually see Seth Rollins vs. CM Punk at WrestleMania, a match born not out of kayfabe but out of real hatred? Insiders are split. Some say it's the most marketable storyline in years, guaranteed to sell tickets. Others argue it would cross ethical boundaries, exploiting Seth's real pain for profit. For now, everything is in limbo. Becky is damaged, Punk is silent, Seth is shattered, and WWE is scrambling. The road to WrestleMania, usually filled with excitement and hype, is now clouded in betrayal, bitterness, and uncertainty. The tension behind the scenes was already unbearable, but now, word began to leak that Seth Rollins had officially filed papers. Fans thought maybe this was storyline, maybe WWE was playing some kind of twisted angle to pull in ratings, but no people close to Seth confirmed that this wasn't just drama for TV. He was broken, betrayed, humiliated. The kind of betrayal you can't just sweep under the rug. And what makes it even worse is that CM Punk wasn't even hiding it anymore. At a WWE live event, away from the cameras, Punk reportedly leaned into Becky with a smirk that screamed arrogance. He knew the eyes of the locker room were on him, and he didn't care. To Punk, this wasn't just about attraction, it was about revenge. A way to prove that he could take something from Seth that Seth valued most. Imagine being Seth Rollins for a moment. You're not just losing your wife. You're losing the mother of your child. You're losing the stability of your family. And the man responsible isn't just some random name. It's CM Punk, a man with a history of being vindictive, calculated, and cruel when it comes to personal matters. But Becky wasn't looking like the innocent party in this either. Instead of clearing the air, instead of defending her marriage, reports say she became distant, avoiding conversations with Seth, avoiding the cameras, and even allegedly staying behind after shows to talk with Punk longer than anyone else. Fans who saw this started filming, posting clips online, fueling an already fiery storm. The WWE Universe began to split. On one hand, you had fans rallying behind Seth Rollins, furious that he had been dragged through the mud in such a public way. On the other hand, you had those who believed Becky was simply done with Seth, that the spark was gone, and Punk had only stepped into a situation that was already broken. But then came the ultimate twist. CM Punk reportedly told close friends that this wasn't just about Becky Lynch. This was about breaking Seth Rollins' spirit. He wanted to crush him, not just in the ring, but in life. He wanted Seth Rollins to feel powerless. Punk believed that once he destroyed Seth on the personal level, defeating him in the ring would be easy. And in Punk's eyes, there was nothing more humiliating than stealing a man's pride, his family, and then standing across from him, smirking, while Seth tried to fight through the pain. This situation escalated when Seth confronted Punk backstage in front of several superstars. Eyewitnesses claim Seth snapped, screaming at Punk, demanding answers, demanding to know why he was destroying his family. Punk reportedly didn't flinch. He just smirked and said, "Maybe you weren't enough for her. Maybe she needed a real man." Those words were like a dagger to Seth's chest. He lunged at Punk, fists flying, rage pouring out, and it took multiple officials and wrestlers to pull them apart. The locker room was chaos. Seth wasn't just angry, he was broken. Punk wasn't just cocky, he was provoking him to the absolute edge. The WWE Universe, upon hearing this story, exploded online. Hashtags like #JusticeForSeth and #BeckyAndPunk began trending. Fans started debating whether this was the most personal, most disgusting betrayal in WWE history. And the scary part? It wasn't a storyline. It was reality bleeding into the very fabric of the business. For Becky, the silence was deafening. She refused to comment. She refused to explain. That silence only made things worse for Seth. Every time he stepped into an arena, he wasn't just greeted by cheers, he was reminded of the betrayal. Fans held signs mocking him, some even referencing Becky and Punk directly. WWE cameras, always opportunistic, zoomed in on those signs, further fueling Seth's torment. The company, realizing they had something both tragic and explosive, leaned into it. They booked Seth Rollins vs CM Punk as the headline feud, capitalizing on the real-life pain Seth was enduring. But here's the kicker, it wasn't just about a match anymore. This was about revenge. This was about a man who lost everything trying to fight his way back against the man who took it all away. And fans knew one thing for sure: the first time Seth and Punk stood across from each other in that ring, the atmosphere would be unlike anything WWE had ever seen.